Alrighty, have another gaming PC here that's currently on sale for $629. It comes with a RTX 2060 Super, 8 gigabytes, which is probably the best part of the PC, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and we'll get into that in a second, and a 1 terabyte SSD. Essentially, the bare bones of this PC isn't too bad, but when you start breaking it down, it's not exactly a perfect PC. Now, if your budget is $600 or anywhere around there, this is not terrible. You can probably find a better used PC at that sort of thing, but honestly, you're buying from Amazon. They take back everything. Ignore the shipping. I live in Canada. You won't have to worry about that if you live in the States. So it comes with an i7 3.4 up to 3.9, so I can only assume it's the 4770, which isn't an awful CPU. It's 4 cores, 8 threads. It does use older RAM, DDR3, and it is quite a few generations back, considering we're on Intel 13th gen rather than 4th. The performance of it is very, very similar to an i3 10100F, so it is not terrible. 8 threads is enough for most things. If you're just casually gaming, this thing is more than enough. If you're FPS chasing, you're definitely going to want something better. This is strong enough to do VR. The graphics card is definitely the best part. The 2060 Super still holds up quite nicely. There are a couple things where I'm like, that seems a little iffy. 32 gigabytes of RAM is plenty enough for almost everything you can throw at it, and the 1 terabyte SSD is going to be lightning fast. But if we look at this, which is a weird edit, I don't understand why they edited out the shroud. Sorry if you can hear my dog licking himself. But where those 2 fans are at the bottom, it seems like a very weird place. I would rather have, 3 fans in, 3 fans out. The ones at the bottom really aren't doing much. I would definitely face the power supply down if it isn't. So out of the box, you can probably play like just about every game. Like at least mid settings, most of the time high. You'll get at 60 FPS, if not more. Games like Fortnite, Minecraft, like this computer will crush it. It will be perfectly good. A lot of like the best games are from a couple of years back, so you won't have a problem. Now the problem's going to lie when you go to upgrade this thing, because it is rocking an old CPU and motherboard, so you can't just yank it out and put a new CPU in with the old motherboard. The chipsets change all the time, so that is a concern for some people. It's much easier to change out the graphics card later, so buying a budget PC with a really good CPU that's up to date, like a newer Ryzen with maybe an RX 550 old graphics card, that's easier for you to upgrade because you can yank out that old graphics card, literally push one pin, remove the drives, and take out 2 screws, slide out the old GPU, slap in the new one, and then you're probably going to be set up for a couple more years. I'm not 100% sure when 8 threads is not going to be enough. Like, I use the 12th generation i7, and I even find in some games my CPU even is starting to hold itself back. But the future's, you don't know what's going to happen. They need to make games that are for the masses. Usually they're pretty good at optimizing, and the lower settings work with every computer, so that way everyone can play. But just in case, that is something that you need to keep in the back of your head. But for $629, I think it's worth a gamble. You're buying from Amazon, so if you do need to return it, usually they're pretty good about it. I say it's worth the risk. I would say like the keyboard's crap. The soundbar you'll probably never use. The headset looks okay. The mouse is generic $10 mouse. None of that stuff is very good. It just lights up. It's appealing to kids, but the actual PC itself is not that bad.